Hey y'all, you're listening to another episode of Southern Chatter.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Bucky, and today y'all, a couple of episodes ago we did Southern slang, and now we're also bringing up something Southern. What are we doing this week?
Today we are going to talk about, y'all, the things that people claim the South does better. So what we're going to be using for reference in this podcast episode to shout her out is an August 5th, 2019 article from BuzzFeed. The title is, "Here are 23 things Southerners just do better than other Americans." It's by Taylor Owens,
Yes.
Who I guess is a BuzzFeed writer, so just want to shout her out and tell her that we're using her
Material
article as the basis of our podcast episode today.
Yeah, and
So-
y'all, also we are in the pool. This is
Yes.
probably one of the first podcasts that we've
We are
filmed.
outdoors. The cicadas are loud.
So can y'all hear them?
tonight.
Let's take a second. Can y'all hear the cicadas? Hopefully, because they're so loud.
Katydids.
What?
Katydids. Some
Is
people
that
call
what,
them katydids.
really?
Yeah.
And y'all, there is like a
Anyway.
whiff of like cow manure.
A little bit.
I don't know why.
Like hay, cow manure, and like rain because it rained
It
here
did.
earlier.
It stormed. Yeah.
So y'all, we're gonna dig right in. This is the 23 things that this writer claims, or other people have submitted in, that the South does better.
And there's a lot. Personally, I think a lot of things Southerners do better.
Yeah, well, there's 23 in this article.
Well, we'll see if they're correct.
So, number one, y'all, is Southerners are the best at addressing a group of people. Y'all just sounds nicer and sweeter than you guys. So,
I mean,
obviously we have to agree.
That's like a staple of ours.
We say y'all all the time. Everybody in the South says y'all. I just don't understand why y'all isn't like already universally accepted as the way to address a group of people.
Well, now they're coming out with crazy ways that you have to address people.
But like a group of people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to me, but maybe that's just because I've always grown up here and it just seems very
It just
normal.
seems so easy.
Even
It's
though-
literally an abbreviation of you all.
I mean, just like we talked about in our Southern slang podcast that we did, it is becoming more people, not just in the South, say y'all.
Yeah.
But it was
I think
kind of
so.
like a trendy thing.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I don't know, but I think everybody can agree with that. I mean, y'all just rolls off the top.
It's
the
easy.
tongue.
So number two is, they're great at coming up with pet names for both loved ones and enemies. Darling, sugar, and buttercup can be compliments or insults.
See, I think that's funny because we were also trying to think of, when we were reading this list, like some insults names.
Well, I think this is meaning more like the way you say it. So like, darling could be something you call a significant other. It can be something you call a kid or something like that. But I think it also can be like, oh darling. Like, you know, it can be kind of like
belittle
like a
somebody.
little, yeah, like a little shady.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Which you were also talking about buttercup.
Well, buttercup is one of the examples, and I was saying that like a phrase you hear sometimes is either suck it up buttercup or pucker up buttercup, which means like brace for it, you need to just deal with it kind of thing.
Oh my god, I just got bit by a spider.
Oh my god,
Yes.
well get it away from me. Did it bite you?
It was like, I don't know, it didn't like, it like pinched me or something.
Well, they don't have pinchers, so it obviously bit you.
Oh,
Where did it just go?
it's still in the pool. I got it, y'all.
Oh god. And we are gonna have to cut this from the podcast.
Why?
Because we can leave this in the video though.
Oh my god, I'm bleeding. I've never been bit by a spider before.
But the first time for everything.
We take a picture just in case it gets...
Yeah, hold
Should
on.
we figure out what kind of spider it is? We might need to figure out what kind of spider it is. Okay. Well, y'all, basically, sorry about that. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we had a little incident because, like we said, we're in the pool, and I literally just got bit by a spider.
Yeah, so
And
we're gonna pick up where we left off.
Yeah, figure out where that was.
It was dramatic.
That was...
And if you want to see video footage, head to our YouTube channel, youtube.com.
It'll be up in a couple of
SouthernSnackers.
days, yeah.
It'll be there later. Anyway, so we were talking about people coming up with pet names as like for loved ones and enemies. I think we covered that. I think we should just move on, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Okay.
you think of like every, like, especially like grandparents, like sugar pot, like sugar,
Yeah.
like, what does your grandpa call your grandma? Doesn't he call her something like? I feel like there's something that he
Sweetie.
Is it?
He calls her Sweetie.
Okay. But yeah, people love to call people like some type of dessert or something.
Dessert.
Yeah. Like cherry pie.
Who calls anybody cherry pie?
Okay, maybe that was a bad example, but you put me on.
I've literally never heard that.
Well, you put me on the spot.
Well, you can't be saying stuff you can't back up.
Okay, well,
you know that.
I'm sure somebody calls their significant other cherry pie.
Yeah. Okay. So number 3 is nobody does comfort food like the South. Honestly, pretty much any Southern dish could be considered comfort food. Many of them are composed of carbs, so it's basically like being tucked into the most comfortable bed when you're having a bad day. I agree, y'all. And there's no cooking like Southern cooking.
That's very true.
I do have to be honest about that. I love different kinds of foods. I love different cuisines. I love world cuisines, but y'all, it really...
What is that in the pool? Do you see that?
It's swimming. Why are we doing? Why? This is freaky. I don't like this.
What is that? Is it a lizard?
I think it might be. Y'all, we're out here in nature. I'm very uneasy.
That looks like a pig. Give me my phone.
God almighty. It's a leaf. Great, cool. What a success.
Okay, no matter what else comes at us next, we'll be fine. Alright. And number 3, Brandon, what do we have?
We already did number 3.
And number 4,
we were
Brandon.
talking about it, and
Well,
it was like a lot to talk about.
That was before we got attacked by the leaf.
So we were talking about Southern food.
Yes.
And I was in the middle of saying, before you turned around and spotted what was leaf and you thought it was an animal, is that I agree that there's really no food like Southern food. Like, you know, I love all kinds of cuisines, that kind of thing, but really, Southern food is just so, I mean, it's home to me, I guess. Like, there's nothing like a good, like, you know, chicken pie, some cream corn for breakfast, some grits,
or
some sausage
casserole
gravy and a biscuit, some kind,
gravy biscuit.
It really doesn't get better than Southern food.
I will say the only other thing for, like, you know, because it says like comfort food, I also think of like spaghetti. You know what I mean? Or
that's
like a
not
baked.
Southern. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm thinking that's the only other food outside of Southern food that I do like
that you feel like it's
comfort food. Like a baked spaghetti, like if I'm in a bad, like if I'm just like in the dumps.
I associate like soups with comfort food.
Okay.
Which, you know, soups can be all kinds of different cuisines.
Well, like stews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I love the zuppa Toscana soup, which I think is technically like an Italian soup, but you know.
Okay.
So number 4 is school spirit is top notch in the South. I agree with that statement. I think people go crazy over like, especially college sports. I feel like it's just a different thing here in the South.
Well, there's also so many like very like high tier college like universities that like are good in sports.
Well, there's also a lot of rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Like Duke, Carolina is the obvious big one in North Carolina. South Carolina has like Clemson, USC, which is huge. And I forget who Alabama hates. Is it maybe Ole Miss or Auburn? Auburn, Alabama. That's it.
Maybe.
Like, it's just like in the South, people really take that seriously.
Well, even if you, not even just college, if you go back to like high school, I mean, did your college or did your high school have like a rival in your county?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure other like places do that as well.
Yeah.
But also like, especially in the South, like schools have, high schools at least, have like spirit rocks. Mm-hmm. Did y'all have that?
Is that just in the South, you think?
I don't know. Did y'all have
Oh,
that?
yeah, where you painted the rock.
Well, and then you also would go to like your rivalry, like their school, like right before the game or like the night before the game, and like post or like paint something like crazy.
I think that's illegal. Did you do that?
Well, I wasn't on any of the sports teams that did that, so no.
You weren't cool.
No. But I don't. It was just, I don't know that it's illegal. It might be now because I feel like everything is illegal nowadays.
It's vandalism.
Everything is like illegal. Everything is, you know, don't do it. Oh God, I don't know, but
yeah, laws. How God, they're awful.
No, there's a difference in whatever. You're gonna be like that, but you know that was an innocent thing. Yeah, sometimes people took it to the next extreme. I mean, but even if you think about Like, did you do a high school prank, like a senior prank?
I did not participate, but the people who the year before me literally got criminal charges because they put crickets or something in the AC and it like literally messed it up.
Well, there was tons of different senior pranks at my school, and I think there was 2 that I participated in, but one of the bigger ones that I was like I was one of the main people was one of my friends literally got a huge dump truck of sand, imported sand, went to like the teacher's parking lot.
Like, put it in their parking lot?
Like when everybody, and we poured it all over the parking lot and had like beach chairs and stuff. Oh, that's cool. But it was cool until we had to clean up sand in, I think it took like 2 days.
Oh, people are dumb.
It was awful. But one good thing is other people that didn't even do it, helped us. And we got out of class. Like, because it was like the smart people, like, that did it.
The smart ones.
Like the ones that didn't really matter if you missed class. So we just like missed class and didn't really get in trouble. It was nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Number 5, the South has mastered barbecue. I don't think there's an argument on this. I agree.
First thing when you come to the South, you go to a barbecue place.
Especially North Carolina.
Yeah, and if you come to Charlotte, let us know because we have many that we can recommend.
Number 6, Southerners have the best accents. The drawl is so
God,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main...
It's funny because people... you know how we've talked a lot on our YouTube channel about how we feel about accents. Like our accent, like, I think a lot of people think Southern accents are like, a lot of people love them. A lot of people think they're hot, they think they're cute, whatever. A lot of people think they equate to like stupidity, which I hate. But it's interesting because when you travel internationally, a lot of people think a Southern accent sounds a little Australian.
The weirdest thing.
It's so weird.
It's so weird, but especially not other like Americans.
No.
But people in like the UK and like other like people in Europe, when they heard me speak, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're from Australia."
That is so weird to me.
That is the furthest thing from Australian.
Yeah.
Like it was the weirdest thing, but people did love to hear me talk.
Yeah. I just think it's a natural thing. Like it's, you know, it's different. It's a little endearing.
I wish that we could be on the opposite end of it and like hear it. Like,
well, but you are though. You do hear some people who have a real thick Southern accent, and you're like, oh my Lord,
well,
you know.
There was this girl, and I doubt she's listening, but at a place that I used to work, her name was Landon, and she had, literally, you know those like country shows, or like, you know, TV shows or Hallmark shows that are like based in,
like the fake,
and they had that accent. Fake Southern where you're like, this is so put on, this is so fake. Hers was real, but it sounded like it would be fake. It was the craziest, like it was so Southern. It was such a, I mean, it was unreal. But it was like so genuine. And the only bad thing about that is when you hear like her talking, you almost think that she's being like overdoing it and being like
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
that
feel like
sense.
Southern people get that a lot. Because honestly, it's true sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It can be.
But anyways.
So number 7 says, they're the best at using insults that are disguised as kindness. Bless your heart is a prime example.
That goes along with exactly what I was kind of just talking about.
I agree. I also think though that, I don't know, like bless your heart's really the only example I can think of that's like that pointed.
Yeah.
But also people use bless your heart in the South not as an insult. Like I think a lot of people who read this all the time, because it is pushed a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like people genuinely say it and mean it.
Well, a lot of people also like kind of just shorten it and just say, oh, bless. Like, you know, or bless them.
Oh, bless. Yeah.
Oh. And it's just like, y'all, they're just being stupid.
Yeah. Number 8. The rest of the country hasn't discovered chicken biscuits yet. My local McDonald's carries them for breakfast, which I thought was a universal thing, but apparently it's not.
Okay, we need to know.
So this is interesting because we were talking about this before we started recording. We were under the impression that most McDonald's did have biscuits.
And when was this article? This article was 2018?
2019.
19. So this is crazy to me. I thought literally every McDonald's would have a chicken biscuit.
Yeah, why would you not?
Is like y'all out there, let us know. Like go tell us in the reviews or whatever.
It's interesting. Like if you're in a place where McDonald's doesn't serve biscuits or chicken biscuits, please tell us.
Yeah, write us a 5-star review and then tell us about it. But that is so strange to me because it just seems like that would, why not? Like, why would places not have that? It doesn't
So
make
number
sense.
9 is kind of similar. Our biscuits are fluffy, soft, and super buttery. You can't get a biscuit like that in New York. That's strictly a Southern thing.
Well, then this kind of makes sense. Is somebody like driving? What? The actual... This podcast and video.
This is a mess.
Y'all, literally, I think it was a four-wheeler, just drove down the road.
That was not a four-wheeler. That was like a go-kart. That was really low to the ground. I think it was a go-kart.
Really?
It had no headlights.
It had no lights. So I'm keeping that one into the podcast because I know y'all had to hear that. Did they just crash?
I think just something backfired.
Oh, well that was insane. You'll probably hear it again because they're going to have to come back by. But speaking of the biscuits thing, that means obviously if they don't...
They're literally coming back.
See if we can see what it is this time.
It's a go-kart.
Oh God, here we go. That is so... It almost... Oh, it is a go-kart.
See how low to the ground it is? This podcast is a hot...
so...
Y'all, I'm sorry. This podcast is all over the place.
Well, that is why...
I feel like this is weird when you're listening to this with audio and no visual.
Well, a lot of it is going to be cut out, but y'all, if you don't want to hear the cut out parts, come on over to our YouTube channel. If you do want to see like exactly what we're going through.
Like they're coming back again. They're literally just driving a go-kart up and down the street right now.
I don't think they're coming back this way. But probably in like 2 or 3 days, y'all, this will be up on our SouthernSnacker YouTube channel. So please go over there because it is going to be like end up being a funny video because a lot has happened. But speaking of this one about biscuits being such a Southern thing.
Yeah.
Well, it almost makes sense that chicken biscuits aren't a thing anywhere else if they don't have biscuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is
so
weird.
It's like, is that true? Like if I went to McDonald's or like Burger King up north for breakfast, they're not going to have a biscuit? Or like, what about a KFC? They have to have biscuits. Right?
Now KFC has to, but that's KFC's thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, anyways.
So number 10 says, customer service is amazing in the South. There is nothing quite like the service you get at a true Southern Chick-fil-A. I love that they call that out specifically. But most restaurants and stores down there are super friendly. And I think... It's obvious to me that these people writing these things are not from the South.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, Chick-fil-A is a great example.
Chick-fil-A is a good example.
Because, I mean... I've never had a bad experience or dealt with a rude employee at Chick-fil-A. Have you?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, but it's at a Chick-fil-A in Uptown Charlotte where all the workers are at like 1 p.m. getting their lunch, and it's very hectic.
So it's a little different.
And there are some workers there who are a little testy. You know, they're not like your typical 15-year-old, my pleasure. Like
that, I mean, that is true.
Because mostly here in the South, like here, I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but when you go to Chick-fil-A around here, it's always like really young people, like high schoolers who are so nice. And you just kind of know who they are. It's just really interesting. But anyway, so I don't know if I would say customer service is amazing in the South. I mean, maybe it's just that generally Southern people are a little nicer.
Or maybe...
But you do encounter sucky customer service here in the South.
But maybe that's the Northerners coming down. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I'm so just kidding.
Maybe.
If you're a Northerner...
Maybe it's all the Yankees.
Yeah, get out of here. We're just kidding. Please don't cancel us.
Number 11. They just make tea better. Unsweetened tea is trash.
I mean, yeah.
There's an argument there. That's just true. And moving on to number 12.
If you don't agree, then you're wrong.
Number 12. Southerners have the best manners and etiquette ever. It's drilled into their heads from childhood.
100%. And one of the biggest pet peeves that I have is when people do not open the door for somebody that's behind them. That's literally walking in right behind them and they don't hold the door for them. I don't care if it's a woman or a man or a child. Weird. You know, a lot of people are like, they'll do it for a woman.
Yeah.
But no, like in the South, like you do it for everybody.
You do it for most everybody. Like, and most people do it.
Yeah. But if I see that one that doesn't, I'm like, what a, you know.
I don't know if I would agree with the etiquette part. Because I think there are a lot of Southerners.
I hold my fork wrong, or spoon wrong.
I think there are a lot of, like, I understand what you're saying about that kind of Southerner, like the high class Southerner, like the debutante kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I think generally most Southerners have less etiquette. Like, they don't But it's about the culture being more loosened and relaxed. Like, there's no qualms about, like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, it's not like it's just a bunch of sloppy people running around. It's just as if, like, people here don't tend to judge and care as much, I don't think, about, like, properness.
Like, you're not going to go to any, like, person's house for dinner and, like, the silverware is going to be, like, in order of how you should eat it.
I mean, it would. I mean, I feel like a lot of
be very rare.
Like highfalutin people might, but it's not in general. No.
Right. I mean, it's nothing like that.
Number 13. Southerners are best at small talk. We will talk to anyone at the grocery store, gas station, restaurant, etc. We enjoy the company of strangers. This is 100% true, and y'all.
But I don't like it.
It's nice, but it can also be really annoying, especially when you're like us and you go back to your hometown to visit, and you like literally cannot go to the grocery store without seeing 12 people you know, and they all want to talk. Like, my mom and me always get into it because she loves to talk to people out in public, and if I'm with her and I see somebody I went to high school with, or if I see somebody who I know or who knows me, and I will literally sometimes like look or go the other way to avoid them.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad.
And she gets so mad at me for that.
My parents do the exact same thing.
But it is true. You can't go anywhere down here without somebody making small talk. Like, even strangers. And I think it's kind of sweet. Sometimes it can get on your nerves because you're not really in the mood for it.
Well, I mean, that's just like the Walmart near my house. Like where I grew up.
Yeah.
I cannot go in there without seeing at least 2 people that I know.
But isn't that because your cousin works there? Like, I mean, that's kind of cheating.
Okay, that's why I said 2. Her and then her. To where if I go into the Walmart, like, I literally will run down another aisle. Like, if I see somebody I went to school with, or not. And
I'm
it's
not like that with everybody, and I don't want to say that I'd walk the other way because I don't typically literally run the other way.
Right.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure you see me or that I see you or that we make eye contact.
Okay, so I will run the other way.
You do actually run the other way.
Especially if it's somebody that, like, I know it's going to just be a lot of, like, you know, catching up.
Yeah, it's like you don't really care, like, and we're friends on Facebook,
that they don't care, and you know,
It's like you're just asking these questions to be nice and polite. Like, you don't actually want to know. You don't actually care.
And just trying to get away from that conversation is, you know, it's just like, ugh. I don't know.
Number 14. Hot chicken is the best when it comes from the South. Any hot chicken from anywhere else is a complete disgrace. Sure.
I think so.
I mean, really only had Nashville hot chicken.
When we went to Nashville, that place that we got, what video? That we had a video on our YouTube channel about that. But it was some of the best, like,
it was good.
Chicken.
It was very good. So that's that. I don't know. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Number 15, whiskey and bourbon is better in the South.
I mean, you got Kentucky.
I think it's because you're thinking Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, which are Southern.
Yeah.
I don't know where Jim Beam is from, but I know Jack Daniels is Kentucky.
It's all Kentucky, ain't it? I think Jim Beam is Kentucky.
Maybe it
well.
is. But you hear like Tennessee whiskey. You've got moonshine, which is big here. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Number 16. The South is one of the prettiest parts of the U.S. to drive through. There's no better road trip than driving through the South and sampling the varied and wonderful foods. Agree.
I mean, just taking the trip in our last podcast, we were driving down, what's that road?
I-40.
I-40 from
like Knoxville to Asheville is beautiful.
It's such an amazing drive. And
not to mention the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can just make a trip out of that.
I mean, especially the mountains, I would say, are beautiful. Like this, I will say, like, the eastern part of the South, like the coast area, can be kind of boring.
Well, it's just so flat.
It's just flat, and there's not a lot going on. But like once you get to the beach, then it's beautiful again.
Right.
But I agree. I think the South is it's a very pretty. It's a very pretty part of the country.
You know where else I think? I mean, one great thing, especially, you know, North Carolina and a lot of southern states, is you do have like the ocean, and then 4 or 5 hours away you have the mountains.
Yeah, that is really nice.
You really do get like the best of both worlds, and especially with the weather here. I mean, even though gradually we're not having as many seasons as I think we used to.
Yeah.
But you know, we still get sometimes a pretty decent winter.
Yeah.
And then hot as heck summers.
Yeah.
And then beautiful falls and beautiful springs.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other drive that I think trumps like the mountains of North Carolina is that road that we did in California.
The Pacific Coast Highway.
Oh my gosh, going from like LA down to San Diego.
That's
oh
hard to
my
beat.
Gosh, it was gorgeous. And maybe it was just because that's not what we're used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not our normal.
It's not the terrain we're used to
to where when
either.
if they came to, you know, the mountains.
Yeah,
of
they
North
would be like,
Carolina,
oh
they
my
would be
God.
like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it is gorgeous here.
So number 17, the South has the friendliest drivers. People driving past you almost always wave. This is primarily a small town thing, and it always warms my heart. I'll agree. I think that the drivers you encounter, even in the cities in the South, like thinking about Charlotte, Atlanta,
Yeah.
are generally nicer. Like, it's not as like cutthroat, road ragey.
But also maybe it's just because like places up north have such a bad reputation.
It's true.
It's not really that they go out of their way to like be great or whatever, but like in New York, you just have such a bad reputation. Like drivers just.
I think that's kind of a North thing.
Yeah.
Like DC. I think about just driving when we drove from like Canada to here.
Yeah.
Just how much more generally miserable it is kind of in the North.
Yeah.
Driving.
I mean,
but
that's
it's also
true.
more populous, so that makes sense. There's more people in a smaller
But then people there
area.
will like just blow their horn.
Yeah, they love to blow their horn.
Let's say the light just turns green for a second. Their
Yep.
horn is ready to blow.
It's true.
It is the crazy. It's like, let me like at least hit the gas pedal.
It's annoying.
You know, like gosh.
Number 18.
How many do we have?
There's 23.
Oh well, okay.
Southerners are great at handling the nasty, sweaty kind of heat. So I have to agree and disagree. I think we're used to it, but I will say that I think Southerners tend to complain about it a lot. Because y'all, it is a different kind of hot here. It is humid. It is muggy, as we like to say. So sometimes you literally walk outside when it's like 100 degrees in the middle of August, and you literally feel like you cannot breathe because the air is so thick.
Yeah. And that's so true. Like even today, y'all, it was, you know, it was one of those like summer thunderstorms. And then when we came out, because we decided to come out and film this podcast by the pool, it was so like just wet and damp out here.
Yeah.
Like just in the, like the computer just got soaking wet.
Yeah.
It was out here 2 seconds.
So it's just
awful.
Yeah, it's just really humid.
But
and
it's the same thing. It's like everybody in the South, they're like, whenever it's summer, oh, I wish the winter was here. I wish it was winter.
Yeah.
I wish it was cold.
So
and
I
then
don't
as
know
soon
that
as
I really
winter's
agree with
here,
this one.
everybody's like, I wish it was summer.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait for summer. It's like, you know, the grass is always
Yeah.
greener type of thing.
I don't know that I agree with this one.
Which one?
I wouldn't say that Southerners are
Oh.
great at handling the heat.
No, I don't either. I don't think so.
I genuinely don't, because I hear more people complain about it. Now, I complain about it a lot, so I'm speaking from my experience. I love the cold.
I don't like being
But
hot.
Southerners also complain about the cold a lot.
Yeah.
Southerners like a nice, reasonable,
70.
like 60 to 70 degrees. 60 to 75 even.
Yeah. I mean, because unless you're just around water and it's anything
Yes.
more, it's miserable.
It's hot,
You don't.
y'all.
I mean, you can't do yard
It's
work.
hot to do anything outside.
and
Oh
it's
my
dangerous.
God. It
At
is.
least
You'll
I
have
tell
a heat stroke
myself
and
it's
die.
dangerous.
Number 19. Southerns have, they say
Southerns.
Southerns, that's interesting, have a great eye for blending traditional and modern elements at home design and decor. They know how to make a house feel like a home. I agree.
I think we have a certain design
Aesthetic.
Yes.
I think it's all comfy, cozy, inviting, conversational.
Deer antlers. But then
that's
everything
different.
but then everything else is nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
That's
very like rustic meets modern meets
Yeah.
woody meets comfy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I would say it's just generally comfortable. Like even if it looks fancy or it looks high end, it's still always going to be comfortable
Yeah.
and livable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of it tends to be a little bit gaudy sometimes.
Sometimes.
But maybe that's
But
just for the
that's-
younger taste.
That's different. I think that's more of a generational thing.
True.
Number 20 says tailgates are better in the South. I've never been to a tailgate in the North, so I guess.
And I think that just goes with the Southern pride of
The
like
school
your
spirit
schools.
thing.
I mean,
Or just teams in general. Like, do they not tailgate at other like NFL
I'm sure.
stadiums?
Yeah, they do.
I guess it's just better here.
I mean, I think it's just like what we said. More people do it for like college and high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a thing. You do.
Yeah.
Like you look forward to those Friday nights when you know that that's what's going to be happening. Like
That's true.
you're already.
I never really
planning that.
tailgated in high school, but I was
Really?
also in the band, so
Loser.
I had other
Band
duties.
geek. Band geek.
Number 21, they have the best late night food options. Like, where do you go if you don't have Waffle House or Cookout?
100%.
I guess I'll agree. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. And I don't know what the late night food options are in most other places. New York City has a lot, but you know, that's New York City. I don't know about...
I mean, are Waffle Houses not everywhere? I guess they're not. Are Huddle Houses everywhere?
I think Huddle House is kind of not a thing anymore.
Oh.
But I think Waffle House, I think it is primarily a Southern thing.
Okay.
And we know Cookout's like a local thing.
I mean, what other fast food restaurant besides, you know, like a 24-hour McDonald's
is open late?
Is open until 4 a.m., sometimes 5 a.m. You know, like that is crazy. I mean, Wendy's is sometimes 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But like 4
Taco Bell, I think, is like 1 a.m.
And it's like, y'all know that we love Cookout. I mean, we talk about it on our YouTube channel all the time. But it's just like,
it's hard to beat.
It lives up to all the hype.
It does.
I mean, you just can't get better than
it being late night is great.
Yeah. Craving a milkshake at 3 a.m.?
You can get one.
You can go.
Number 23. Nobody does blues and honky-tonk music like the South.
Okay, that's number 22, but yes.
Did I say, what did I say?
You said 23.
Oh, sorry, I meant 22. Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously.
And
this is where country music's rooted. This is where a lot of good music is rooted.
Yeah. Well, it's also such like a good folk sound. Like, you think of like the mountains of North Carolina, and when people are, let's say, sitting on their front porch, you know, hanging out, a lot of times somebody will have a guitar and they'll be like playing and picking and singing, and it's just that style of music. It's just so easy to just play with a guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
And it's just
easy.
Good. And you can sing along with it no matter, even if you don't really like know the song. I don't know, something about like folk music and like Southern music, it's just so easy to like follow along to and just join in with. Yeah. And I don't know, it just makes for a good time, honestly.
I agree. And last but not least, y'all, number 23.
This was actual number 23.
Southerners are best at making people feel welcomed and loved. I've never ever met a Southern woman that didn't make me feel right at home. So I think we generally agree with this.
Yeah. I mean, and I think this is also a generational thing, because I think you think of like our parents or
like our
grandparents.
moms' ages. So I think of like women who are like, I would say 50 plus.
Yeah.
Especially. Not to say that younger women aren't, but I think women 50 plus are exactly what this says. They will make you feel at home.
Yeah. And they'll always try to give you food.
Yep. They'll always have a meal ready. They'll have something you can take home.
Get it? Yeah.
There will be some kind of beverage in the fridge. Like, it's just always going to be, like, they're ready. They're just always ready to host.
And it always seems like they are busy in the like they like find joy out of doing it too.
Yeah.
And it's like, just stop. Like, just sit down. Like, there's so many times, like with my mom, I'm just like chill. Like, we're all old enough. Like, if we need to get something,
we can take care of ourselves. Like
just
you don't
let
have
us
to do that.
Be.
Yeah.
And especially like we're gonna go on vacation, hopefully, God willing. And even on vacation, I feel like my mom like needs to like make supper every night.
Yeah.
Or like I'm like,
you don't have to do that.
We can order.
And other people can cook too.
Yeah, and it's like, just
well, it's just like my mom, if she ever comes to the house, she literally takes the cleaning.
Oh, and I love it.
And I'm just like, why are you cleaning?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God.
And it's just like chill. But, I mean, it's so nice. And
it is true.
The thing is, and this is something that I've kind of had to like learn along the way, even though it frustrates me to daylights, because then I see like how miserable, like, and tired they are, like, after. But for some weird reason, they find joy in it, and that's what makes them happy.
They love it. Yeah.
And you know,
it is nice because I do think that in the South, people genuinely love to help other people.
Well, my thing, not even with just women, but if I'm like having something or having people over, I need to make sure that they are okay at all times.
Oh yeah.
Like, for example, the 4th of July get together we had at my parents'. You know, it was just family, but at the same time, I was going around giving like the kids sparklers.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you just want to make sure everybody is having a good time.
Having a good time.
And even though it made my night, honestly, y'all, not great, because I was running around the whole time shooting off fireworks and making sure everybody, like, I didn't get to enjoy the pool as much as, you know, some other people did. But it's just, you want to make people feel as welcome and not awkward. I hate when I feel awkward going into people's houses because they don't make me feel welcome.
Yeah.
And I never want to wish that on anybody whenever they're around me. Ugh. It's the worst feeling. Yeah. Like going to just somebody's apartment or house and then it just being like, oh, you're there. Like, hey.
Yeah.
And then like nothing else. It's like, do whatever. Like,
yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't mean bad by it. They think like, oh, you know, make yourself at home type situation.
But like you not too much.
But you can't make yourself at home until you
feel
help
comfortable.
me make myself at home.
Yeah, because you have to be made to feel comfortable. But I think that also like has a lot to do with like what I've always thought is kind of sad is like growing up. Like, I mean, I lived near all my family. You know, most of my family live nearby, and like,
yeah.
I think a lot of the what this question is talking about like being so hospitable is like kind of like what we were talking about, always being ready to host. Is like when I was younger, like we would just pure like stop by and visit people with no notice. Like often.
Yeah.
Like we would go to like my aunt's house or my grandparents' house or like my mom's friends or something. I mean, we would just go. We'd be like, oh, like we're coming back from so and so. We're gonna drive right by so and so's house. Like, oh, should we just stop in and say hey? You know?
Right.
And like that doesn't happen anymore. Like, you know, like people don't really do that anymore. I think it's kind of sad. Like I think that like that's kind of one of the downfalls of like technology, and I feel like that's probably mainly a Southern thing. Like I don't think a lot of people in other parts of the country have really ever been doing that much.
Right.
But like it is kind of sad to think about how we don't do that anymore. But anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the list, y'all. That's all 23 things.
Those were, I mean, a lot of those I 100% agree with. Is there anything else that you can kind of think of off the top of your head that like Southerners do better that wasn't listed? Or I mean, I think this kind of goes, I think some of the best colleges are in the South.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially like the Southeast.
Yeah.
Like we have some of the best, I mean, well-known colleges too.
There's another one that you had sent me from a website called It's a Southern Thing. And it's 10 Things Southerners Are Just Better At by Haley Lawrence. And she said one of her things is telling stories. And I agree with that, actually.
I think that's also a generational thing.
Like, I love to hear Southern people tell a story. Because they always, like, do it so eloquently. And it's, like, fun. I don't know. But then she also included... number 10 on her list is being good looking. And she 100%
said, agree.
Okay, I'll just say it. The South is just more good looking. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
100. I kind of agree.
100%.
Which is weird. And I don't want to offend anybody who's watching or listening who
isn't from the South. But just know that you're not as good looking. It's just how it is.
Wow, that was rude.
I'm kidding.
But just like to think about, like, I don't know, there's just something so like cute about the South. It's weird.
Yeah, and I think, you know,
I think that, like, I've always felt like for women, like, there's something, like, Southern women always want to be, like, I don't know.
Like that debutante.
Done up. I guess is a good word. Like, dress well, like, hair done, you know. Nails always done, hair always. But I don't know, like, maybe we just feel that way because that's where we live and that's where we grew up, but, like.
But then you think about people, like, with cowboys or, like, men with like, you know, Wrangler jeans. Like that was always a big thing. Like Wrangler, if like, you were supposed to wear Wrangler because that was like a.
But is that just here though? I don't know.
I don't know. But like.
But I do kind of agree with that. But I don't know if it's just because we're biased because we are from the South. And
there's also that song "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy." I mean, it didn't say "Save a Horse, Ride a Northerner."
What does that have anything to do with them being good looking?
Well, why would you want to ride somebody that's not good looking? Oh, God.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think that's what the song was trying to say.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Okay, this is going downhill fast.
Okay, well, anyways, I thought this was fun. Let us know if y'all want other, like, Southern type things.
Yeah.
I love these types of things.
So we have a fun the next podcast, just so you know, will be themed, and it's going to be, we're going to talk about some famous things. We are both from North Carolina. We live in North Carolina still. So we're going to talk about some famous things that North Carolina is known for.
Yeah.
And things that were invented or created in North Carolina that you might not know about.
Yeah. So next Monday, y'all, that will be our podcast.
So look for that next time.
And y'all, normally in this part of the podcast, we have our Dear Southern Chatter episode or segment. And y'all, this week we actually do not have a Dear Southern Chatter.
Okay.
We did get a couple of emails, but they weren't really questions or advice. So I do want to let y'all know, if y'all are listening right now, you need some advice, you just want to ask a question, please send us an email to dearsouthernchatter@gmail.com.
We want to hear from you.
Yes, please. And it'll be all anonymous, so don't feel like you can't say, you know, we
won't say your name.
We won't say your name. But we did get an email from some people, because basically this past week I uploaded a video on YouTube basically saying that I was quitting YouTube and but basically in that, if you actually watched it, because Lord knows half the people didn't even watch it, and all you had to really do was watch a minute of it, and you heard me say I'm not quitting, but I am quitting it full time. And I'm basically just taking a step back and just not filming as much. And one of the emails that we got to the Dear Southern Chatter email, you know, was saying that, just talking about, you know, me taking a step back and how they appreciate that and how, you know, that I'll be missed. But one thing, this is the whole reason I'm talking about it.
I know, you just had to throw I'll be missed.
No, but one of the things that they did talk about was, you know, in my video I talked about I'm just tired of feeling like I have to eat to make a video.
Yeah.
And so many people in like the comments of that video also were like, you know, I want to see more vlogs, more like travel stuff, more. They'll say that, but then our views will be really
Our views
down.
will be bad.
But,
like the people who stan us even, I feel like, don't love our vlogs. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But I do really appreciate it, because I do want to do more of those types of things. And y'all, I already have like 3 vlog ideas that will be coming soon. So please support those. When y'all see them, please watch them, because honestly, it does get frustrating when those don't get views, and those are the ones that I spend hours upon hours editing and putting together, because it's not like a mukbang video where I'm just uploading one video
and
then posting
there's not a whole lot of editing with mukbangs either, but with vlogs there's a lot of editing.
But
so what do they say?
Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is like a personal message, but I know these 2 people, I don't want to say their names just because I do say I'm keeping all this anonymous, but I do appreciate that y'all sent me that email. It meant a lot. And I'll say John and Roy. I like giving people like fake names. It's but John and Roy, thank you so much. We will do more vlogs. We will do more, you know, things like that. And it does make me happy that some people say that they will watch them. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe they will.
So who knows? But we are going to continue to do podcasts because we love it. Maybe not by the pool at
I'm never doing this. I'm just going to let you know, I'm never doing this again.
Really?
This has been really stressful.
Why? Just because I got bit by a spider?
Just because there were spiders, we thought there was a lizard, there have been birds flying all the whole time back there.
There's also been a crazy...
I've been watching birds the entire time.
Really?
Fly behind you, yes.
Okay, well that's another... It's
very stressful.
That was.
I just like to be in a very nice, you know, safe environment where if I'm doing something like this, I don't want to have to be looking over my shoulder for animals.
Oh my gosh.
Or worried that something's going to run out of the corn. I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, but thank y'all so much for listening to this episode of Southern Chatter. We so appreciate you. If you do not follow us on YouTube, please feel free to do that. We are Southern Snackers on YouTube. We eat a lot. We vlog a lot. We have a lot of fun. We're funny.
We eat a lot. No, we're cutting back on eating. We've already said.
Well, we do. You can go watch us eat a lot right now, though. We don't have to do that in the future, but you can go watch our entire YouTube catalog. You'll see us eat a lot.
Yeah. Well, we also want to get back to like cooking videos.
Yeah.
We got to do that. That's so much fun.
But thank you so much for listening to this episode of Southern Chatter, and we'll be back next week.
And just remember, y'all,
when life gets tough,
just keep on chatting. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Oh, I can wave now because
there's actually a camera.